Alla, if you would have only one wish, what would that one wish be?
I would wish to have all my skills and all my knowledge in a 20 years younger body. Then I would change the world.
Wow. But how would you do that? How would you change the world?
Through education.
A lot of people tried to change the world through education, but it seems like nothing ever worked. So what do you think is wrong with all these previous attempts?
Imagine a very old and rotten building is about to collapse. And we're trying to paint that building in very many different colors again and again and again. Would that save the building?
No, I don't think so at all. It wouldn't do any change to it.
Exactly. Me too.
So how do you think your system can truly benefit the government?
We have to change our philosophy. And let's see the following.
Okay.
The government pays $15,000 for a child to go to school per year. In 4 years, the government pays $60,000. Now, let's say 100 people graduate early, so it will be 60,000 times 100. So the government will save $6 million.
All the talk that schools are failing because of the lack of funds is not substantial. Billions of dollars can be saved, and they can be used to really benefit our students.
Fantastic.
Shall children be the ones to decide when they shall graduate high school?
I suppose so. I mean, with help of adults' supervision, yeah, I would say so.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should not.
No.
Why? Why should children decide that if we already have a set system where you would have to, of course now, if you're super smart, yes, okay? But I think there's certain curriculums you would have to learn before you, or a certain age before you can make those types of decisions.
No. Why? Because children can't make competent decisions at that time. It should be up to the parents.
I don't think so. Because when I was a kid, I would have wanted to leave high school like right away, and I wouldn't have gotten the education that I got. I'm glad that I got the education that I got and stayed in high school for as long as I did.
Yes, agreed.
Why?
It's their future.
I think so. Yeah. Yes. And why?
Graduate high school is very important, I think, because actually I came here after graduate high school, so I made a lot of friends in high school.
At what age did you get your Bachelor of Science degree?
Age 50.
Who was the initiator of your early high school graduation?
I never graduated from high school. I'm a high school dropout.
High school dropout.
But I left high school when I was 12. It was mostly my parents who recognized that that was a good path for me. I didn't protest, but it certainly wasn't led by me. I didn't know at the time what made sense, what didn't make sense.
What are the benefits and disadvantages of entering undergraduate school at 11?
I'm sorry, I started undergrad full-time at 12.
Oh,
I
12.
started part-time at 10, but full-time at 12.
Oh.
Advantages, so let me start first. the very reason that I went to college early also suggests that I would not have been very happy going through it the normal pace. I would probably have been bored in class. I would maybe I would have started acting badly in class because I was bored. It's possible I might have found some classes somewhere that would continue to engage me and that would be good uses of my time, but I'm not sure. So, but in addition to being bored in class, I would have wasted those years, educationally speaking.
At what age did you graduate high school?
I suppose 14.
What is the benefit of you finishing high school so early?
The benefit of me finishing high school so early? Well, I can graduate earlier, I can major in more things that I want to do, and I can do more than one thing. I can have more than one degree, and I can still finish early.
Well, one thing definitely that is an advantage is saving time. There's no denying that. And I feel given the right person, you can explore topics that are interesting to you that you can't ordinarily explore in high school, and it's different. It's definitely a challenge, but I think it builds character going through that.
The reason why I wouldn't want to graduate early is just for missing out on a lot of the social things you do in high school. But if you can always sign up for something that's outside of school, like Teen Line or something like that, and you can always socialize elsewhere other than high school. So there's really not many pitfalls. There's no pitfalls.
I think the social atmosphere is sometimes a little skewed and different, but I wouldn't necessarily say that as a bad thing. There's definitely a lot more attention on you when you do things differently than other people, but I think I've enjoyed it just as much as I've not enjoyed it at times, so I think it, in the end, balances out. Well, okay, I should say there are two different things happening here. Like when I was in college, that was one thing. When I'm in graduate school, it's completely different. In graduate school, I think we're all more or less treated as equals.
Socially, it was certainly quite awkward in many ways for me. Now, I feel better about things when I realize that socially it's quite awkward for people who are, say, 15, for boys who are 15, at least many boys who are 15, even when they're not in college, even when they don't graduate college at that age, when they just enter high school at that age. That is a notoriously awkward time. I was a geek without many friends and with no girls being interested in me at 15 the way I did it. I probably would have been the same had I gone through the normal pace. There certainly are many who very much like me in that respect. One of the things about having not very good social life when you're a teenager is it has very little correlation how good your social life is when you're an adult.
Ala, what's the average age your students graduate high school?
At age 14.
Oh, isn't that a little bit early, Ala, age 14?
No. I was thinking at the beginning that I'm doing something very unique. And then, with our students, we discovered the following.
A 14-year-old boy graduates from Rhode Island's college. Intellectual ability among children is not uncommon during the colonial times. Infants of 3 are sometimes taught to read Latin as soon as they taught English. Timothy Dwight, president of York College, was able to read Bible at age 4.
As you can see, at colonial time, parents were teaching the kids to read in English and Latin at age 3.
Fantastic.
I'm on the same page with colonial folks.
Yeah.
I'm teaching my preschool students to read in English and Russian at age 3. But at colonial time, students usually graduate college at age 14. And my students only graduate high school at age 14. So you can see I'm very, very, very behind the colonial times.
Fascinating.
Who would like to define the puberty? Yes, Alice.
Puberty is the physical process that a child goes through when his body is more transforming into an adult body and he's capable of reproduction.
Okay.
And puberty usually begins in the period of 10 to 13 years old.
Okay, thank you. What changed the time of the puberty? Yes, Sasha.
Genetic and environmental factors such as social circumstances and nutritional state.
Who can give me an example of a social circumstances that can either delay or expedite the puberty process? Michelle?
A juvenile female who socially interacts with an adult male will hit puberty earlier than one that does not.
How do we always use that?
Vandenberg effect.
Why puberty begins so early in our bodies?
During that 40-year lifespan, they had to give birth to a child and raise it. So that's why we have puberty so early.
Who can give me an example when we see that young people behave themselves as adults?
Bar mitzvahs and bat mitzvahs.
Have you read the book or seen the movie Romeo and Juliet?
I saw.
It's a very good thing to keep in mind.
Yes,
What did you think of it?
I think it's lame. I'm sorry.
Yes.
What did you think of it?
I liked it. It was a really good movie. But I know I didn't read the book. I watched the movie. I'm sorry. I only watched the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yes,
What did you think of it?
it's a nice love story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Read the book.
What did you think of it?
What I think about it was a great love story.
At the age of 16, what was more valuable to you, love or future? Future.
Playing and enjoy life.
Why?
That's the only time you can enjoy life. And after that, you're busy studying for your future and your marriage and everything.
A love.
Why?
Because when girls are raised to play with Barbie dolls and look for Prince Charming, and they're not raised to really be smart and do anything like that.
Future.
Why?
Why? Because I grew up in a place where love didn't pay the bills. Okay, and so my future was more valuable.
That's a hard one. I didn't think too much about my future when I was 16. And I can't say I was thinking about love either. I was thinking more about myself and what I wanted and what I wanted to do at 16, which was totally wrong.
My future.
Why?
Because I have to go on.
At the age of 16, what was more valuable to you, love or future?
Future.
Why? I don't know. I had a boyfriend then, so.
Wow, that's a really tough question. I would have to say love, because future was inevitable, but I guess both were, so.
I mean, I certainly had, I think what many children have and feel very strongly is a sense of kind of their own dignity. And adulthood is not a measure of the physical, but a measure of how people ought to treat them. And I actually started working part-time, working for money, when I was 12. And this was as a computer programmer, so this was a learned occupation. So I'm pretty sure that by the time I was 12, I was going to college full-time. I was a programmer. I think if somebody treated me as a child, I would have been very annoyed. I'm pretty confident of that. It's possible I would have been confident of that I would have done that even when I was 8, which would have been unfounded on my part, but it's certainly possible. But I am pretty sure that was so. But that was, I think, in part because I felt I had earned treatment as an adult. I was doing adult things. I was working and I was going to college.
Child labor was the cruelest consequence of unchecked unemployment practices. These breaker boys sorted lumps of coal in mines 10 hours a day. Women and children worked as
as unskilled laborers and made only a small fraction of the men's low wages. Children, many of them under 10 years of age, worked from 10 to 14 hours a day. Some were deformed by their work or crippled by the unsafe machines.
In 1802, the British Parliament passed the first law regulating child labor. The law prohibited the employment of pauper children under 9 years of age in cotton mills. Pauper children under 14 could not work at night, and their workday was limited to 12 hours a day. In 1819, the law was extended to include all children, and no provision for enforcing these laws was made until 1833. Germany was the second country to pass national child labor laws. It did so in 1839.
The first federal child labor law was passed by the U.S. Congress in 1916. The statute included a 16-year minimum age for work in mines and quarries, a 14-year minimum age for other types of work, an 8-hour day and a 48-hour week. The law prohibited night work for children under the age of 16. But in 1918, the Supreme Court of the United States declared the law unconstitutional.
However, in Asia and other parts of the world, millions of boys and girls still hold full-time jobs. In some countries, children under 15 form a large part of the total working force, and there's little or no control over their working conditions.
In 1924, Congress passed a constitutional amendment to authorize federal laws for regulating the labor of persons under 18. But this amendment failed to receive the required approval of 3/4 of all the states. The Fair Labor Standards Act of 1938 helped to promote child labor reform.
Massachusetts child labor law requires children to attend school years for at least 3 months a year until they are 15. Manufacturers are not allowed to hire children in their mills for more than 9 months a year. Massachusetts law regulates the workday for children under 12 years. They are limited to a 10-hour day.
Why are kids dropping out of school?
Yeah, in a high school.
Dropping out of high school.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not a scholar of this. I can only guess at it. My guess is it's various factors. One is they don't like high school. Another is they like their alternatives better. Some of them, for example, may feel ready to, but also feel economically pressured to go to work. Some might conclude that there's relatively little benefit to them in staying in for another couple of years. Some of them may be drawn by their job prospects, but their criminal job prospects. Somebody who's a gang member may figure, why should I go to school when I can be out on the streets making money through crime? For some of them, it may be that in their particular subculture, going to school is seen as uncool because studying is seen as uncool. Some of them may reasonably perceive that the particular school they're going to is such a disaster that it's not really that while going to a great school would have been worth doing, going to their different school kids may have not. Different pressures from parents. It may be that most kids at some point feel like dropping out of school because they don't like being told what to do. Who likes being told what to do by teachers? Nobody likes being told what to do. But many of us do it either because we feel it needs to be done or because our parents feel it needs to be done, and we don't want to disappoint our parents. If the parents are absent or if the parents don't feel that, or if the parents are even pushing you saying, why are you going to school? You should go and work at the family restaurant. You should go out there and get a job. Then that could be reason for them to drop out.
When you're younger, you have more time to follow your dreams. And sometimes following your dreams takes a very long time.
How do you think your system can actually benefit the students?
I believe that at age 16, all students have to have some occupation. especially the one that comes from the family that cannot support them. It's very important because they want to have a good life. They want to spend money on some fun stuff, computers, and if parents cannot provide for them those stuff, where are they gonna get it? So they have to go on the streets, steal, sell drugs, or join the gangs. I believe if our kids, our students, gonna have some occupation at age 16, we're gonna really help them.
Wow.
Let's save their lives. Let's help our students.
And you have a bigger chance to make those dreams come true.
Rautenstein Royal Production
by Alla Maltusov
and Prince Mario Max Schomburg-Lippe of Germany.